Okay, let's go.
All right. Cameron, you want to go first?
Hi, my name's Cameron. So one question that I've always had about these is that some of the paintings have names, but many of them don't. Is that because some of the paintings were sort of made faster and just didn't have that sort of development?
You saying they had what?
Like names, like right, like medieval scarecrow.
They really never had names. Byron and I would talk location. So those names came about because either I had to show them at an exhibition, and they just, some of these names kind of helped me differentiate them to other people, to some of the searchers, and I would just come up with names that they don't all have names, it's just some are easier to name than others, so yeah, there's no rhyme or reason there for that at all. But,
thank you.
Okay.
There's something to see, guys. There it is.
Hello, I'm
Carlene.
Hi. What's your name?
Carlene.
Okay, Karen.
My question is, and we probably don't remember, but I'm going to ask anyway. When you were deep in the middle of drawing these, going through them, getting your mojo on, was there ever a time that Byron said, I want you to pause with that and change it and fix it and make it this way instead?
There were things I put in that had to be taken out I gave too much away. So there were just a couple instances. Most of the time we were really collaborating. We're up against a time clock and a deadline. So that's why some, I would say, are verse heavy versus picture heavy. Like the Andy and Brian here, they got one of the picture heavy clues. And those are the easy ones that actually got solved first. They get progressively harder until
so
they're probably impossible.
Gears. You didn't have to completely change direction.
No. I did mention, like, when Byron had stopped by the studio and I was working on a painting, and since we were short on time, he said, we can adapt this painting. Are you willing to change this? So I had to add whole sections. Just maybe we talked about it right there, right in my studio. He was right there. I said, what about this? He said, that's great, do that. And then he starts doing his little note-taking, and the gears are going. He graduated cum laude, University of Pennsylvania, and then went on to Stanford. So you're dealing with somebody who's got a pretty good mind.
Thank you.
And, yeah.
I have a follow-up question to that, I guess. So I know I did my own thing with this one, but I wonder how similar it was to yours. When you got specific location imagery, did you draw them all separately in their own entities and then put them all together, or were you just like drawing compositional
together?
Correct, yeah. Or were you just doing like compositional study after compositional study after compositional study?
No, it's kind of a holistic thing. A lot of times when I do paintings, it doesn't matter if it's done for a book cover, for advertising, or for an opera company or whatever. Sometimes I get an idea and it's just all at once in my head. Everything's worked out, even the way I want the brushstrokes to look sometimes. And it's just from my vast knowledge of just painting in general. I'll think of a Rembrandt, or I'll think of a Picasso, or a Andrew Wyeth or something, and just the way they handle that highlight. And that's the technical side, but as far as conceptual, so sometimes these things come in all at once. Castle Hat actually was inspired from Time Bandits, from
Monty
Python. Yeah. So.
Well, some of them are obviously inspired by
actually,
other things too,
I can
right?
say, like the Greek gardens here, I love the early animations of Ray Harryhausen, who did Jason and the Argonauts and some of the early stop action thing. And he was involved early on with the original King Kong and stuff. And my friend kind of met him there. So a lot of times it was very organic, though. Like I said, sometimes it was I would Byron stop by the studio, or if and I had sometimes the ideas all at once. I had to look at where the location was, so I'm kind of thinking I'm visiting sites. And actually back then, the internet wasn't invented, so it was a pain in the ass because I had to go to the airport, the airport too. That's not. Either what Byron would send me and then do some of my own historical digging in a library. And we're yakking back on the phone, and FedEx packages are going back and forth, and pictures are arriving, and I'm saying, what the hell is this? And he says, it's this. But you only use this part of that photo, so very organic, very dynamic, and it was a joy to work with. Except at the end where we were really pressed for time, and that. And then I was an emissary for Byron. I flew to the printing plant in the middle of nowhere in Indiana, and R.R. Donnelly, which is this huge printing facility there. Their printing presses are like the size of aircraft carriers, and the printing press actually that we were using to print the Secret on had printed Richard Nixon's memoirs, and they had it surrounded by curtains, and they had armed guards with guns protecting, because what was in the book and the galleys that were coming out from Nixon's book could be seen. So we were on the same press, and they got us pretty liquored up, so we were approving everything. At 2 a.m, our book went on the press, because they were printing 24 hours at this place. So, but anyway, get back to your thing. That's how the ideas kind of evolved, I guess you could say.
I'm kind of curious, when you're talking about the composition of the clues, if at some point today we can pull that painting down, if you'd be willing to do just like you did in Boston and show us what you put in that painting.
Of what?
The visuals of the Cleveland thing.
Oh, I thought okay. Well, I mean, it's kind of what's around here. Like I said, it's a visual, heavy painting. It's pretty much speaks for itself, I guess, visually. And then when you guys typed in some stuff on the internet, you get some of those things, and now you can do Google Drive. You don't even have to go. You didn't have to fly. Up from New Jersey, you could just do a Google Drive, and you'd see these columns, and that would be your ticket in. So, I mean, I could, but it's pretty obvious.
I get it's self-explanatory, but it would be helpful for the community if you would put a pin in that for us.
Okay, I mean, you want to?
Yeah, let's.
Okay, we'll go up over here.
I'll pull out that. Okay. So I can plug this out.
Okay.
Stay there. Break it for me again.
Yeah, but make those even. And it's worked out everybody. Level and I was lands all of the house game. Yeah, job. Done a bottle of water there, kid. I did it. Did we You're embarrassing the team.
Cat calling the Cleveland painting.
Don't damage that shit. Scrape it on the stone or something here. So.
It's going around on my foot. I'd rather damage what's in it.
Okay, let me see. I can talk here. The centaur, of course, is a Greek symbol myth. Here I can look at this. The hat on his head is actually from the Soldier and Sailors Monument that's on Public Square in Cleveland. If you've been down at Public Square, you'll see the long tower, and there's some soldiers there. Of course, in his hat is the fountain. On the upper left corner is the silhouette of the terminal tower. We have some numbers. I won't discuss those. And
Does that mean they're still relevant to a current one that hasn't been solved?
Yeah.
Okay.
okay. Well,
See, even I get sucked into this stuff.
And by the way, with regard to that, that's the latitude and longitude. At least I think so.
I didn't say
but
that.
everybody said that.
Get that guy.
Everybody knows that. But that actually, Fox on our bulletin boards actually discovered that while we were planning our trip to Cleveland. So that wasn't even what got us here. So.
Yeah, John keeps saying these are easy, and then I remind him it took until 2004 for them to find it.
Yeah, I know. The sphere with the triangle, I can't remember, but actually George mentioned it might have been for Euclid, because Euclid Avenue and the geometry and things like that. So that's a little foggy to me. And of course the gem is for whatever the tribe or it's over here. What else? Over below in this tree is the shape of the state of Ohio. And you have the interstates there. You have 71 and I-70 and stuff going through. That's in this area down here. So, and then I can't remember if there's anything else in here. The stones. We have the flower, as you see, that's in every painting. I can't remember the flower. What's the flower for this one? I remember daffodil. That's a daffodil. Okay. Not a botanist, you know. And then, of course, Liberty Boulevard with Liberty Bell, and that's kind of a misdirection. I think it was like Andy mentioned, Brian, that people are thinking it's in Pennsylvania, so everybody's heading to Philadelphia. But yeah, that was for Liberty Boulevard here, and like I said, where the street changed name. My brother posed for the centaur, and the rest of it is kind of made up from sculptures and things. Yeah, I said a terminal tower. I'll hold up for you. You're paying attention. Kind of student. No. So that's pretty much it for that. And like I said, this is one of the easy ones. And they pretty much were. It's kind of fun that they've been solved in the order of their difficulty or ease. But like 20 years is a long time. I mean, that's. We thought Byron thought they were going to get everybody was just going to snatch them up and figure them out right away. He had so much confidence, and I'm like, I always tell Byron they're going to take a while on some of these. So, I think when you guys found the treasure, even though the book was out of print, he was thrilled. He called me. He said, "These guys, they found the Cleveland treasure." I go, "Oh my gosh, you know, are they?" I thought maybe they're from Cleveland. No, they're two lawyers from New Jersey. I'm like, so. And then Byron sends me the shots of their dig, and it would literally, and I hadn't even started working for, I did start working for National Geographic then. It was like a National Geographic dig, and I've worked on assignments for National Geographic where the archaeologists are sending me things from the dig, you know, the gold and the tomb where the king is buried and stuff like that. And it was like that. It was the same kind of feeling, right? Because they had all these sequence of shots that you had taken. I don't know if you did video captures or stills. And it was really exciting. I was like, my gosh, they finally, and they did it right. It was solved the way it was kind of supposed to be solved. So in one way, that's very satisfying to me as a creator. And I'm disappointed in you guys. You guys got to get out there without getting, dig for with permission. Don't damage stuff. And who knows? Like I said, maybe some Yahoo in a construction trailer has got one of these casts sitting there. You have one down here, don't you? Somebody's got the.
That's the
Cleveland cask is down here, so
that's the Cleveland cask right there. So you're free to come up and look at it afterwards.
Yeah.
So
we had multiple people yelling out tail.
What?
The tail. They're asking about
the tail here.
Significant.
I can't remember. There is something there, but I can't remember. See, that's where the foggy stuff. Like I forgot about like I said, the home plate on the sleeve of the cover painting for Boston, and then when Jason mentioned that, and then I looked at the painting and went, wait a minute, and I remember Byron saying, turn that into like a home plate kind of thing, and I still think the green structure there is a green monster. I still think it's that's a misdirection maybe, that it was the wall. What's the field that's there? Not Wrigley, Fenway, and that is the green monster. That's where I thought it was. I thought, how the hell did he get in there and bury the thing? Not knowing that he picked a subordinate baseball field, So was there a question? I didn't know if I.
So the big takeaway, of course, is
the tail. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm clueless.
I think the prevailing theories are it was the Cuyahoga River and the road. Maybe it's out here.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a wind over there that runs. Did you just say there's a limb over there that looks almost like that garage?
No, it wouldn't be that way.
So the big takeaway for me is if the easiest ones have been solved and it's going in order, and it took 20 or almost 30 years.
80 years.
We'll be bright. Henry, where's Henry?
You're
our last shot, Henry. Yeah, I mean, when is the hardest one going to be solved? If I'm assuming they haven't been either destroyed by erosion or natural disaster, right? I mean, there's a couple out there that, and you must love that. I mean, you must, like in a fiendish way.
I don't know where Byron buried him.
No, not I'm saying where. Just the fact that you know there are harder ones.
Well, I felt bad for Josh Gates when he used to get out there. That thunderstorm came in. And they're freezing their asses off, and it's raining, pouring rain, and he's trying to dig by the thing. And he did have a good beat on the Lion is the Lady, because that was something I remember. The Byron and I were talking about that one. But other than that, you know, and that could have been an instance where maybe, like you, turned around and counted the other way. Maybe they needed to turn around and count the other way. I don't know. But maybe they were just, you know, he ran into a drainage pipe or something, or an irrigation pipe, you know, instead of a foot over. Maybe that's where the cast was. You know, and you can see how big it is of these plexiglass cubes that these were put in, you know, were like that, and you damaged it when you dug it up. So, yeah. Like, next question?
You all good on the painting?
All right.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Michael Lewis. That's my son Alex. We're on a 2,645-mile road trip this week to come and culminating with this event. So thank you very much to everyone. This has been really good. And to echo the sentiments what you said earlier, I think someone said about spending time with your children. There's nothing like spending 40 hours in a car with your kid, you know, with no cell phones and just listening to books on, you know, and just having a good time, you know, and making memories. So thank you very much. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, okay.
So get kind of choked up. Sorry, but
do you have children? You said?
oh yes, sir.
I got some stuff for him.
We're
I
5 years.
got a handout for him.
Well, one of them's right there. He's filming, and he's
Okay, yeah. Well, he's kind of old though.
Well, no,
he'll be all right.
He graduated high school.
Wasn't a
this.
toddler or anything.
He was going into 8th grade. I think we started this, and he was graduated high school. So
Really?
it's something that we really, and his older brothers along with us, and it's been a family event the whole time.
Yeah. Jason did that with his family too, where they walked around and with the treasure solving and stuff. The guy from the Boston episode.
It's been we've learned so much together. We've got to go visit parks. We've got to do things that we just would never have done. Right? We wouldn't be, and just I can't even express how amazing it's been for our family, and just the memories that my boys and I've had. It's been really great. So thank you. But you segued right into my question. It was fantastic, actually. You mentioned Time Bandits. It was for that, and you know, Byron Preiss put together the book.
This.
The Crazy Word Book, right? He did it with Ralph Reese, and he also mentioned that he thanked Larry Hama, Terry Alston. And he also thanked John Berard in the front.
Yeah.
On the cover of the May of '82, which is 5 of the Crazy magazine that Larry Hama did, which has the same kind of font, is a picture of this. And I think it's a Bob Larkin. I don't know who Bob is, but Bob Larkin did this, and I think it's an homage to your painting. I didn't know if you knew about it or if you've seen it before.
I didn't.
So there's no maybe. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty individual creative statement, and I think, like I said, sometimes even with the arts, we're dealing with dialects now. Most of the visual languages have been discovered, so people are doing surreal images, and now with the internet, you could probably type in kind of the key search terms for an image like that, and you'll get a ton of this has kind of a Time Bandit feel too.
And it's 5 of '82. It's May of '82, which is really kind of the zinger I thought was good.
It was in '82. It was '82.
5, yeah, it's funny. And so that book came out in '82 too. And in that book, Byron did a lot of cool stuff in that word book there. And one of them is a picture of a hippo, and she's in a heart-shaped pond, and she's chastising her child.
Yeah.
You know, Saint Augustine's mother is Saint Monica of Hippo.
Yeah.
And she's the saint of
he may have seasoned
worrisome
stuff.
mothers. But anyway,
I've had a long career too, and I've done many covers, and I've thought of Byron while I'm doing them, and that's all I'm going to say at this point.
Yeah. The second thing is in your Origins book there. I handed over. There's a caption on the book where the picture of the secret page. I have it. Should open right up to it. There's a little over there. If you read that caption, do you see anything wrong with that caption? It says the first treasure wasn't found until 2005. And we just thought, was that a misprint, or is that something we're supposed to be digging for?
Probably misprint. They don't listen to me when they do these books.
I think that's a pretty big miscommunication if it says you didn't find the first treasure. So
I think that Chicago was about a year after it was
right.
It was published. I think that, you know, it's one of the things I didn't check off. I should probably read more closely on that, because this was edited by somebody else, you know, and we talked on the phone and they kind of wrote things down. So And I've had that happen with reporters too.
One final question. I think last time I put in there, you can't see it, there's an overlay that I did that has image 1 and 12. When you put them together, there's a picture of Jesus that forms. And a lot of people find
No,
stuff.
you're freaking me out, man.
Well, what's really weird is
It's like the Shroud of Turin there. It's like
the rose is up on his chest. I can show you later or a video, but I've done it. But I didn't know if you think that's if you can remember if there's an intention.
I'm not that sophisticated, dude. That's
well, it's pretty cool, and that's one of the things we found.
Yeah.
But I have a video of it now. I hope we can show it to you one day. But thank you for the offer for getting something, my boy. Appreciate it. And thank you very much
We
again.
come up later if we're at the signing table or something like that.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
It's a hornet. It's coming after my maple stuff.
That's good stuff.
Look at this hornet. Look at that. You want some? Here.
Good afternoon. Hello? Hello? Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good afternoon. My name is Bill. First, I want to thank all of you gentlemen for joining all of us today and making this possible.
Yeah.
It's just something we've all looked forward to. All right, so I have two quick questions, one for John and then a follow-up for Andy and Brian. When you were first developing these paintings, it's my understanding that Byron would give you some items he wanted included in those paintings. Did he also include the verses at that time?
No.
No.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. God, that's a good question.
To incorporate those as clues in the painting.
No, I think he had a track that he was doing with these. I think he had the way he thinks, and since he had this photographic material, he already had things that he was keen on that he knew that I was going to put in the paintings. So I don't think he ever shared No, he never shared the verses. So what he gave me, he would write independent. Sometimes he could write around what I painted too. If he felt that I filled in an area that he was going to mention, he probably omitted it and then wrote a different passage or something. Because I think I remember when the book came out, I said, Byron, I don't know what the hell which verse goes with which painting. I tried to figure him out, and I was like, what the hell is this? I don't know what he's saying here. So, no, he didn't share those. I think like I said, it's like the SR-71 thing. He wanted to keep a lot of this separate. I only knew so much. He knew the whole game. He knew the whole thing.
So a quick follow-up to that. Did he do all the verses?
Byron, yes. Yeah,
Thank you
he was the sole author of those verses.
Thank you very much.
Unless he talked to Sandy or something, maybe he bounced something off of her. But
Very good.
and I bounced stuff off my wife. If I did the Aragon dragon and I had her draw the Aragon eye, and I looked at what she did, she goes, "That's pretty good." She's an artist herself, so I kind of adapted that and then let that in. So I'm sure maybe Sandy had a word in that, because I met Byron at about the same time that he met Sandy. So I tell these guys I had keys to his apartment, so I had like an apartment in New York City. I could stay at his apartment. He sometimes would go off with Sandy. She was a publicist for Bandit Books. She'd be off in San Francisco. He'd fly there to see her, and I'd have his apartment on there. And his housekeeper would wash my clothes and like that, shrink my shirt to the size of a toddler, my sweater.
Maybe the solutions are in one of your jackets.
Yeah. You know what? Byron did give me a black velvet jacket.
Check the pocket.
When I was
Check
there.
the pocket.
How about-
Jeez, it's at Goodwill right now or something.
Wait, to Andy and Brian, as a follow-up to that, how did you arrive at the verse that you associated with Cleveland?
Well, we were on the bulletin boards and everything, and there was like a group of 20 of us who were trying to narrow things down. So we had nailed down maybe about a third of them as to which cities they go to, and we were still trying to mix and match. And then one day, I put in Socrates, Pindar, Apelles into a Google search and got nothing. And a couple months later, someone else on the bulletin boards named Johann put the same search in, but we didn't know what that verse led to until we see the Cleveland Cultural Gardens pop up in the search for saying Socrates, Pindar, and Apelles are 3 of the names on the walls of this right here behind me. And that's when we saw the Cleveland picture, and bam, that verse matched that picture. So,
Thank you.
And of course, pre-internet, there's some clues that are site confirmers, and there's some clues that'll get you to the place. There's no way 2 guys from New Jersey who'd never been here, when they published this in 1980s, they couldn't have possibly thought, unless we took a field trip and saw that, we would never know. Oh, you know what? Socrates, Pindar, Apelles, that's on that Greek wall. But it was clearly put there for when you finally get here. There's you got it, keep going. So if you were dependent upon that clue, but now for us, when he pulled that out and showed it to me, I remember we were in Atlantic City, and he was trying to make a presentation to see if I'd come with him. And he goes, I got to show you this. And he showed me the picture of the wall and told me about the names. And right? Goosebumps. I got goosebumps, and I go, oh my God. Because it went from, come on, man, like enough already, to, wow, it really might be there. So again, the takeaway, some clues are going to get you here, and some are going to just confirm that when you're there, and then all of it has to get you to that X that marks the spot.
And just to add one more thing to that is, I know that John says that this is a really easy puzzle, but it's easy only if you live here. Because if there was no internet,
Right.
and you don't find, and the Cleveland Memory Project doesn't post the names of those Greek philosophers, how would you ever know to come to this garden? Because it was a rundown place, not many people visited.
Sometimes
Right?
the breadcrumbs are big, and sometimes the breadcrumbs are small.
So I think it would have been a lot longer that we would not have found this if there was no internet.
I said breadcrumbs, and sometimes there's a big donut sitting there too. Yeah.
Thank you all.
Okay.
So in order to wed one image and one verse, it's Google.
Yeah, it will help. It will help.
Hi, I'm Alan, the anagram guy is what they call me. I'm here with my beautiful wife, Mia, who's over there taking pictures, and my son, Aiden, who doesn't care anything about the secret. And neither do my other 2 kids at home. And instead of asking questions that you might not answer, I thought, I bought your Herman Hesse 6 paintings. And
okay.
if there's anything you remember about the project, I know the one
The Herman Hesse from Franklin
might
Library?
be you. Yeah, from the Franklin Library. I own those 6.
Oh,
And,
thank you.
And anybody that wants the file, I can give you the print file. Like
I should thank you.
I own the rights to the paintings.
Well, you don't own
And
the
the
rights.
paintings.
Well, you don't own the rights, actually.
I can't get a hold of anyone. Like, they don't exist. They just
I
send
think,
you.
You know what? If they revert it and it's so many years, maybe you do.
Yeah.
Because I think, I own the copyrights to those. Because it reverts to the artist in every instance.
I got you.
But
Do you?
I don't know if I think the company went out of business and actually they made back some of their money that they paid me.
And he's
For
got
that.
2 good lawyers next to him.
There you go.
So you know.
My legal counsel here, gentlemen. These are my legal hitmen.
But do you remember anything about the project? And then the one painting, I've been told that might be you.
Yeah, and my wife in it. Yeah, I'm the guy sitting on the picnic table, and she's in the background. So, but yeah, and I'm playing the lute in there. I tell you, it was kind of that was one of those things I kind of had to rush through those paintings because I was starting to on the Time Life books paintings, and we had many. There were 16 volumes in that series over 3 or 4 years, and I'm in probably the first 10. Then they shifted it over to the UK to finish it up. But yeah, so that was like a little interlude that I had there. I was supposed to work with them again, and I got ill. I thought I had cancer or something like that, and that I didn't. And by that time they had offered me what I really wanted to do was a book on Gogol, the author, and he's got some really nice surrealistic images, and that's what I'm about. That was I was surprised when they called me on that, And a couple of my teachers that were in Paris had worked for them, and I said, "Man, I'm going to make a killing on this." And then he tells me, well, those budgets are long gone. We don't pay that anymore for that. So it was kind of, go through them and get through them and try to do a decent job. And
You remember how long they took, like each painting?
Maybe a month.
Month each.
To do it, yeah. They were kept. You have the original, so they're kind of on the small side.
Well, maybe we can talk later about getting the rights.
Of course, we will talk about it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No,
I
you're welcome.
really appreciate you. I mean, we're the cult following, right, of this book. So we're the cult. We're all really not that bad.
Yeah, I'm really.
I'm watching
by all
Brian
this.
and Andy. I'm watching the show. I'm an EU baby.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, we need to buy this book. We need to buy this book. And I take my kids to Herman Park. And long story short, it hasn't ended. And just thank y'all so much.
Very cool. Thank you.
Kid will be right back. If anybody has any questions for him, I'll be taking them. If you want answers to the tribute hunt, just see me on Kid now. Dad, if you could tell me the answers to the secret.
Hello, my name is Rachel Wozlicki. I first wanted to say thank you so much. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Hello, my name is Rachel Wozlicki. First, I want to thank y'all so much for being here. This is amazing. It's my first time to get to like an actual secret event gathering. I have a question for John.
Okay.
If it's not answerable, that's okay, but I want to try anyways. It was mentioned previously about an interlocking puzzle between the paintings and certain optical tricks like anamorphosis. For example, if you tilt the New York painting, in the robes of the woman is the mask of the New Orleans painting. With repeated imagery like this within two separate paintings, is it to provide context to the specific imagery in the painting it originated from, or perhaps both? Or something else like a trap or a misdirection?
Both, maybe.
Well, okay, you're getting me in a lot of trouble here. A whole lot of trouble here. So I think the question is, let me see if I can break this down, not for your question, but for 15,000 people on the Facebook page who are going to listen to this and misinterpret what this man's about to say. Does this painting hold clues to any other city except for Cleveland?
Oh. No.
Does any of the paintings hold any clues to any other city except their respective city?
No, but some are linked. I don't know how to describe that.
Yeah, I mean,
I can say they're linked in a way, but they're not directly linked.
Maybe to...
I don't know.
It's hard to explain things without giving away the answers, but...
Basically,
not that they're full answers, Eddie.
Yeah, like with the link, when you see the repeated imagery, I guess like where it's placed in that painting with the link, does it provide context that you may need for
not necessarily for another, not necessarily for another painting, not for another painting. They're pretty much their own person, I guess, or their own individual thing. But there is some linking and, but not conceptual or treasure linking. Maybe geographical link. Well, that would be then, I guess, geographical link. But they're not anything that significantly directs one to where a possible treasure would be, I guess, is the way to put it. It's kind of a loose thing. And it's just something that occurred. It's not one of these things that we planned for. It's something that happened because the happenstance that came about. And we said, let's do that. And we put it in. And it's a non-factor as far as being able to think. Now, the distortion stuff, that's a different story. The anthropomorphic distortion, chroma keying, and all this weird, stuff, and that's a different thing. So.
Thank you so much.
And it depends what version of the book you have too. If you have the new version, all bets are off.
But the online images are good enough.
Yeah, those are actually, people will say I got kind of social engineered once and it never happened again. But somebody wanted high-res images and stuff, and I was thinking about selling the paintings at the time, and this was years ago. And so I sent this guy some high-res images, and I think that's what he's doing. He was trying to figure out the clues. at a specific part of the painting. It never happened again after that. Once I realized I was being played, it doesn't happen anymore. So, in fact, none of the paintings are really for sale. Per se. I have some of them are different places. Some of them are with the models that posed for the thing as gifts to them for posing and things. So, but maybe in some distant decade, they'll go up for auction and stuff. But right now I don't plan on selling any. So.
What we do? Hi, my name's Richard. I'm from Buffalo, Lafayette Square, and my question is, can you confirm what
put the mic up to your
Can you confirm that there's more than 12 treasures out there, like 15 in the U.S. and 2 in Canada?
I can't say anything about where, you guys know more than I do probably. They're not more than 12. They're only 12. They're only 12.
I disagree.
Well, welcome, John. Welcome to my life, John.
Yeah.
This is nice that someone else gets this.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. They're only 12. I always thought. Here's the thing I thought, because here's a little theory that I had, because since I don't know everything about the treasures. We did the first part of the book, or second part of the book, is the field guide to the fair people, and when I told Byron, I said, Byron, what are we doing this field guide? It's kind of a humorous thing. We had Ted Mann and what's the other guy, Sean Kelly, and these guys at the time were writing for National Lampoon and for Saturday Night Live, and they were working on Animal House. I think when we met at one of these corner restaurants. These guys were telling jokes, and we're talking about the front part of the book, which is the field guide to the fair people. And what?
That's the back part.
Is that the back? Sorry, the back part. And see, I don't even know what part is in what part of the book. Anyway, of course, when Byron and I would work on the secret part, they weren't around. It was just us two. We'd go off and go to his office or at his apartment, and but I always thought that part of the book. What I said to Byron is, why are we doing this field guide? Why aren't we just doing a treasure book? At the time, one of the inspirations for the sequel was actually a book called Masquerade by Kit Williams, and there's no intention that my son's name is Kit, but and that's kind of a weird thing, isn't it? Yeah. And he did a book called Masquerade. It pointed you to where there's this golden rabbit somewhere in the English countryside. Byron saw that, thought it was good, so I thought, why don't we just do the same thing? Just do a dedicated, 12 paintings in a large format book. And he was very adamant. He got very stern. He said, no, we have to do it this way. We got to do it this way to sell the book. And I don't know if it was because we had Ted Mann and these guys from Saturday Night Live and all that in there. But I always thought that maybe somewhere in those other characters that are in the front part of the book, the Tupper Werewolf or the Maitre Demon, the sculptures done by Joel Allen Trilling, and other artwork by Overton Lloyd and John Perard, and was there anybody else? There was somebody else that was in there. That in those black and whites were somehow there were clues hidden that would inform something to do with the 12 treasure paintings in back, and the way he was so adamant about it, it kind of like, and Byron, like I said, he's a smart guy. He might have thought of maybe interlacing something in that, or something even in the tail. Might not have been 12 treasures, but that there were additional clues in those other sections of the book that we weren't thinking. I know. I think I even had the mindset that I was going to put some things in, maybe in I should say like the frontispiece of the book, or some of the spot illustrations that appear in there. That I did for the tale to fair people. The fair people.
I think that was going to answer my follow-up question, because Joellen and Ben are both on record as saying Byron had no real input into their art of the book.
Yeah.
Ben said Byron didn't tell him where to, aside from like Ben was going to
I'm not talking
Washington,
about the art,
D.C.
I'm not talking about the art.
You're talking about the text.
I'm talking about the text.
That was when, didn't you say once you thought like maybe one letter from here and you mix it with another letter?
Well, it's not, we're not talking about like the Zodiac Killer here, like this kind of weird thing going on. But I think somewhere in there, it could be, I don't know.
Well, there were broad things that everybody sort of agrees on. Like there's the Chicago World's Ferry that talks about being nestled up next to the Great Lake and yada yada yada. people go in depth in that, but that's fine for them to do as well. But that my follow-up question was, Ben and Joellen both said that their art contained nothing. Byron had no real input in the secondary art.
Yeah, that's their art. Yeah.
Sean and Ted both kind of said they just didn't care.
Right.
We haven't talked to per art.
Yeah.
Did your secondary art contain any nods to your paintings? You're welcome, guys.
I use his own. It's like I reflected it back. I own it like his own thing against him. Try to be around this guy. Yeah, it's like,
try interviewing you. These guys know how hard it is now.
Yeah. So, well, what are we gonna do here? We're gonna do some signing, or
you want to? How many more questions do we have?
We got. Okay, let's get to. I'm sorry, I didn't see the people.
Could we we had a live stream, everyone, and we talked about quick. Could we rapid fire the questions?
You guys.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Like it. All right.
Hello, guys.
Talk close so I can hear you.
Guys, thanks for being here. Visiting from Montreal, super excited that we're including the book. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Nice city.
Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate it. So obviously we know landmarks and physical sites. Objects are in the paintings to help us confirm the sites. How about the characters, like the centaur and some of the other characters in the other paintings? Do they have a significance to be solved, or are they just artistic license in the paintings to help hide in?
He's asking about the main characters in the paintings. Do they help? Like you were saying, the Greek centaur earlier.
Yeah, it's like
the witch from Salem.
Yeah, witch from Salem. It's like some of them were inspired by Rembrandt, and I'm trying to think. Some were kind of generic characters used as the main subject to kind of hang things on, in a way, I guess you could say. So we had to be able to establish which tribe, which country that the fair people came from. So, as you mentioned, the centaur for Greeks, and gosh, I'm trying to, and then we had the kind of Asian with the dragon and stuff. I'm just trying to think it through the things. And kind of the ugly troll-like guy for Chicago, which was, I think, that was Ireland, I believe, wasn't it? Well, yeah. And in the end, with the emerald there. And, what did he say?
And Montreal.
He just said one was based on Rembrandt.
Montreal, I think. I think it was like kind of a Rembrandt character, kind of a Dutch character. I think maybe. That's thank you. So the French wasn't that one. I know they're French there.
I don't know the French thing. I would like to know.
Hi, thanks. I want to start off by thanking you guys for making us all relive our childhood. Bringing us back to just that wonder in life. But to make it quick, George, I'm sorry. John, when you were starting these paintings, you were early on in your career.
Yeah.
Did you use all the intended colors that you intended the final product to be, or were you under the assumption at the time that the printing process may change slightly to a little bit different of the color? So maybe you might have used one color, like example, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That being the amethyst, but the amethyst is blue in the painting. Could you have maybe painted it blue, thinking that there'd be a little bit of a red shift in the printing process? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, that is. I mean, when they run them through, sometimes there can be alterations, slight differences that occur. So we try not to use color. We did do it to the extent that if there was a color shift, that it would destroy any clue or anything like that. So, that is a factor, depending on how far in the run it goes and how attentive the printer is being. Usually when they dial it in, they stay pretty close. There are certain instances where you have two colors that if they're the same value, which I mean light and dark, but the chroma in them is at a certain level, you can sometimes get a little scintillation, but sometimes some colors that should be lighter might appear darker, so but it was. I don't think it really harmed any of the clues in a negative way. You know. I'm trying to think what else I was going to say about that. So did I answer your question? Is it?
Yeah, I just had noticed that if you added more red to the blue, it would get purple, and then I'm a New York hunter, so the red isn't quite the red that I thought it should be, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it could have changed. There were some things that maybe we overlooked when the book was being printed too. You know, that maybe if that should have had more red in it. You know, it's hard to say. You know, for the most part, we were pretty pleased. It's more the resolution thing too. I think one of the things that that kind of disturbed me, like the cover painting I did was the largest painting of the group, and that was on the Expedition Unknown episode. What discouraged me is I had to put a lot of work into the eyes. I have tear ducts in there and the irises and stuff, and then they shrink it down to that. And a lot of artists use what's called the reducing glass. It's you just hold it up and it makes the painting go small, so you can see like. But I'm also about the original art, so when it shrunk down, I was a little discouraged that I had put all this work into the painting, and it was reduced to the point that you're on a coated stock, you're printing at 300 DPI, so you can only go so far, maybe 350. The new printing processes like inkjet stuff, you can get really, you know, if you're doing the G-clay prints, you're getting very, very detailed imagery. But for the most part, we were at, I think 300 DPI was on coated stock at that time, and I was discouraged when the cover went, even though it's a trade paperback. That's why I told Byron I wanted to do the book bigger, but you know, we're up against costs, and there's other factors, and that's maybe why he tried to even create the other part to give broad appeal to the book. So it's just not a treasure hunt. There's some humor in here, and you know, we could play off of that too. But yeah, the shrinking down, like I said, the new version is, from what I've heard and the reviews I see on Amazon, are people don't like it because some of the mechanicals are screwed up and things aren't on trace of the page right, or they're printed on a pulp stock, and at least in the original copies of the Secret, we're on a coated stock. But what George mentioned about what's on the net, you know, where sometimes they're taking multiple shots and stack them to get that extra saturation or resolution. You guys probably have the best stuff out there, you know, from what appears on the net, you know. And put it in Photoshop, sharpen it up, you know.
I have a follow-up question.
What?
I noticed that some paintings, because they were so large, got actually cut off for the book. Did any of the clues get cut off? Okay.
No. I think sometimes there might have been.
Set of numbers got cut off of one of it.
Well, I don't know who trimmed the book then, because the ones I saw, I thought there were some questions too on some of the copies that the registrations of the plates may have become slightly misaligned, which sometimes happen. They're supposed to correct that as it's going through, because they run this thing through, and it's like they fire up this machine. It's like the time machine, you know. It's like they start with things, and things are being folded, and they do these galleys, which are sections of the book. And then in our case, we had the galleys that we were doing were on the coated stock, and then the rest of the book was done on more of a pulpy kind of paper. But Byron wanted that resolution for those, for the paintings, and we really didn't need resolution for the field guide section. And the new copy, from what I understand, is just printed all on pulp paper, and so you're going to get drifting and blurring of your ink on the paper, and any kind of small details which could contain clues will be smudged or, you know, kind of blurred out. Okay.
Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm from
I like
Michigan.
your shirt.
Oh, it took forever to paint this. No,
Okay.
my question, you don't have to worry about grabbing the stick or
Okay.
anything.
All right. Okay.
It is actually an off question. I read somewhere that you were originally left-handed and that now you're right-handed.
Yeah.
What was Byron?
Byron was right-handed.
He was right-handed?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm pretty sure it was. One time he sent me a check, and he didn't sign it, so I had to forge his signature. And I did a really good job, because he did things to his pen to allow a certain type of signature. I'm not gonna tell you what. Well, he's not here, but and when I do it, he realized that I said, he goes, I know. He said it's too good, because I'm pretty. Being an artist, you have a facility, you get to practice it a few times. I could probably do a very convincing signature of anybody famous. They have other ways of telling, the quality of the ink. If I tried to do Abraham Lincoln, they're going to know in a minute. I did not me, but with a little practice, But I don't think Byron's. I think he was pretty. I'm pretty sure he was right-handed because I could even write it P-R-I-E-S-S.
I just figured with you seeing
His slant
him with the
was.
notebook,
I don't think. I gotta remember. I don't think he was. Yeah, I still bat and bowl everything left-handed, and the nuns changed me, so it's divine intervention.
They tried to teach me. I'm still left.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, I used to play guitar left at that one, right left hand.
Hi guys.
Hey.
It's Josiane from Montreal. I normally speak French, so I will try my best. I have my friend with I search my word. Okay, for the painting with Lincoln supposedly with Montreal, my question is why on your painting is still black block house, but not in the painting. Why in the book there are black block house? There was a fleur de lis before, but on your painting it's still fleur de lis. Does it make it still make link with the search, the fleur de lis?
Yeah, the one with the checkered pattern. When it was on Expedition Unknown, they showed it without, but it has a fleur de lis right next to the cat dog face with the. But in the book, much like the thing in the St. Augustine painting, it was covered up.
I didn't know that they did that. See, I'm like clueless. I did not know that they had retouched it. There were a number of things that they retouched. That's probably where Byron said to the designer of the book, his name is Alex J. Alex, get that out of there. What did Palencar do? So he may have changed it after the fact, and I didn't know it. Because there were some things, like I said, Byron wanted to put some things in writing, and I thought it was some of the things that were close I thought were too obvious. But now, after I saw the final verses, I had no clue myself where they were. But yeah, I was not made aware of that they had changed that art.
And second question about color degrees. They make he writing that culture with a K and capital with a K. As we know, Byron will never make this error voluntarily.
What's the change?
Why there is a link with the immigration, the culture and the immigration in the painting. Like here is the column, like in Athens for Greece, Greek, and for Boston, the Colosseum in the verse. It was the Colosseum at Boston. So the immigration is in the verse. The link immigration, there's the link of the immigration is in the verse and the image too, for the culture and the capital. Because Toronto Greece is writing with K, like.
I mean, I don't think really John would know anything about the text of the book.
Okay.
Because he just the way the book was written. You really had no input.
No, Byron wrote that separate from me. We did talk on the phone.
Okay.
But he did the verses on his own, the poems or whatever you want to call them, and then I did the imagery. And we would talk, and sometimes he would change it, but I didn't know if he was changing something, and he would tell me to change something or add something to the painting. But like I said, it was very collaborative.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing this.
Yes, you did.
I'm so nervous. Hi, I'm Jason.
Hi, Jason.
I actually put Brian and Andy.
Hold it up closer.
Brian and Andy. Please, Fred. I wanted to ask when you met up with Byron and you had asked him one of the questions. Brian wrote a big thing about his interview with Byron I had tonight, and one of the things was that Brian asked BP if
the immigration group was really important or not. And I kind of wanted a reiteration of that from you. Do you remember asking him that? And what was his response? Was it in
Yeah, again, this is the old days, the bulletin boards, and we just had certain theories of things. And one of my theories that everybody seemed to agree with was, is there an immigration theme in the book that, you would find not just the picture itself, but the actual treasure ground also has some link to immigration? And he said yes. He didn't answer many of my questions, but that was one of them. And this is the classic example, because you've got the centaur in the painting, that's the Greek connection, and the treasure's buried in the Greek cultural gardens. So, yes.
It's part of the reason I think they would find this one, because if they were looking for a Greek thing in Cleveland, they might end up here. Anyway, my other question is to John, just real quick.
Hold your mic up.
For John, the gem and the flower and the number of items, whether it's a cup, was that something Byron specifically had you put in?
Yeah, we came up. What I can say is we came up with that together. We decided to. That's part of the template. I could say that. That's another thing I told Josh that wasn't really went out in the program. We had a template we worked off of, containing these cardinal clues, I guess you could call them. After that template was created, then we could weave anything else we wanted in through there, whether it was through the verse or through imagery. So I could give her that, and that's pretty much common knowledge. Everybody here has, seen the thing on Expedition Unknown. They identify every city. They know the kind of they've alluded to the latitude and longitude lines, things like that. All that stuff had to be checked. We had to get, like I said, we were doing the immigration thing, and wanted to have all cultures represented in there, and so we had to tick the boxes. We had to check off, what had that, and then the second set of the template was the latitude, longitude, the flowers, the jewel, all that stuff had to appear in every book. So it's in. They're there to greater or lesser extents, and sometimes the color wasn't quite right, but that was the framework, the template.
And you were aware of each immigration group with the flower and the gem and the time when you put it in the image?
What about that?
Were you
aware of the immigration groups?
Yeah. We talked about that. It was like kind of the 12 lost tribes of Israel in a way, but then we changed them into the to the different cultures, and that was kind of just like one big happy Star Trek family. Yeah.
Ken Cooley here. As a former alternate city guy, I'm in Montreal now, just for the record.
Okay.
The Montreal painting clearly to me does have a shape of Missouri if you throw it in a mirror on the palette. Is that a misdirect, or is that just more like a confirmation bias of me saying, oh my God, I'm in St. Louis?
Wait a minute.
All day long we've had ambulances.
Wow. So is that
We're filming here.
So that says to me a misdirect.
What was that answer? Did you purposefully put, what state was it?
It's Missouri.
Missouri
on the Montreal painting, there's a collar. If you throw it in a mirror, it's the shape of Missouri.
I mean, it's
really. I did that.
Okay.
Did I do that?
Misdirect.
Did I do that?
All right. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
All right, I think that's it.
All right.
I do have one last question though.
Okay.
Why do you hate Houston so much?
Houston. I don't like the painting. Oh, I should say. Yeah. That was like one of the lessons I had to blow through, and I wanted to do such a much better job on it, and it ticked all what we wanted to put in, but I just wanted to do a better job on it. I had other ideas, but we ran out of time. That's the thing. You start having these ideas, and you're like, oh my gosh. And it's hindsight. You look at the painting, you said, I should have put this in, and I should have talked to Byron, or I didn't have time to do this and that. So sometimes there is regret with a couple of the paintings that I wanted to. But then at the same time, too, they were, like I said, they were getting harder. We had different degrees of difficulty. And like I said, 80, 100 years from now, maybe, but the boxes will be so deteriorated, it won't matter anymore, But,
what didn't you get to put in? We'll keep it a secret. It's worth a shot.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, guys. Hey, everybody, thank you, everybody, for coming here. I guess we're going to be doing the signing, selling some prints and drawings. Oh, wait.
Yeah,
George, you have a question?
I do have a question. So, it's been 40 years for John. You hadn't been back to this park for 40 years.
Hear you. Turn
I know you can't hear me. They can. It's been wait, is the mic not? Oh wow, this
pull that out.
Right now. Okay.
Careful.
It's been 40 years since you've been to this park.
Yeah, 40.
Brian, I think 20 years since you've been to this park. Andy, 20 years since you've been. I got you all back together here with the writer that brought me and Kim and Nadine into the secret. I tried to make this special for everybody, and I hope I did. I don't know how I could have made it any more special.
Well, actually, I think if we did a reenactment of everything, where Andy and I could go behind the wall and all that, but the problem is we would need a wedding.
Yeah. I got you covered. Do we have a minister in the house?
Yeah, okay.
Come on down. Rachel, may I borrow? Many years ago, I told Rachel when I got into the secret that once I found the gem, I would marry her. And then someone took my ability to do that away. And we've been thinking about when we would get married. And we were trying to think when we could get all of our friends together. How can I get so many people from so many different states in one place? How can I get John, Brian, and Andy? And we figured this was the perfect spot. So
they're gonna change the costume.
They're changing?
There's a costume change. 42 minutes.
I'm sorry I couldn't get you a gem. I got you a meetup.
Oh, what you did. Thanks, guys.
What a perfect day. Am I right? Yeah. Heck yeah. Dearly beloved, this is the perfect ending. This is the main event. These guys thought they were the main event, but this is the main event. I know when you were all heading to Cleveland, this is not what anyone expected, but that's okay. You're all about to witness something magical, I promise. For me personally, I do not care what religion you are or what you believe in, for there's one thing we can all agree on. There is one thing that stands out above everything else. That thing we all believe in, some more than others, is love. Am I right?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. I know I can see it in Rachel and George. I know you guys see it too. There's a lot of love here in the Greek Garden today. A lot of love. I asked Rachel and George how they met. They told me a story how Rachel was in a tough spot. George came through and saved her. After many years of being together, and Rachel said, many years of being together, I am sure that Rachel has also saved him many times as well. Because this is what a good team does. I know in my heart that these two are perfect for each other. Do you guys agree? Oh, hold on. I'm from St. Louis. Do you guys agree? That's what I'm talking about. So what do you say we get these two married? I do things a little differently. I am an ordained minister. In case anybody else needs a little TLC, let me know. So this is one of my favorite parts of this ceremony. This is when you find out if the SHIT will hit the fan. I will say that there are more than 100 people here, and if anyone is feeling antsy or like they want to speak up in particular at this moment, I would seriously think about it. If anyone here can show just cause why these two may not be lawfully married, speak now or forever hold your peace. Oh, I'm liking that. All right, we're on to the next. We are on to the next. I am told that these two wrote their own vows.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I would like to.
Go first. Mine's longer.
George will give us his vows.
But you want me to go first? Yours probably sweeter than mine. So I'll go first. I'll go first because yours is probably nicer than mine.
You have to hold it up to the face.
You try. It's awful.
Open up. You have to hold
Yeah, I know. You probably. But.
I try.
So you probably heard some of these before, I'm sure. So right here, right now, I vow to be your partner in this journey of life. Possessions never meant anything to me. I'm not crazy. Well, that's not true. Here we are at this moment together. You must have been on drugs when you kept on digging that hole. When you asked what you were looking for, you just laughed and said, you're going to find out the hard way. And did we ever? Life is... What's that? Oh, okay. Life is too short, so love the one you got, because you might get run over or you might get shot. And in that case, it's now or never. They say love is a fixer-upper. It doesn't sparkle, it doesn't shine, it isn't new. But every day and everything, the good, the bad, and in the between, these scars are just the stories of the storms we made it through. They don't build hearts like they used to. These days, they might as well be made of glass. And when the going gets hard, they start to crack and fall apart. You only get one person who knows you best. It's temporary, everybody else. But you're my constant. But a love like ours, baby, it was built to last. I know some things that you don't. I've done some things that you won't. But through it all, you said you meant it. There's a piece of you in every second of every single day, forever and always. In return, I promise that you can trust me not to think too much and not to sleep around. And if you don't expect too much from me, you might not be let down. I'll buy you a new car, perfect, shiny, and new. Heck, I may even buy you a new life. I'll give you anything and everything at all, even though it might be pain. I offer you my heart, my soul, and my unwavering commitment. Take hold of my hand, for you are no longer alone. I can't say any more than I love you. Everything else is just a waste of breath.
Come on, George.
His is up that long.
Mine's not that long.
The power of love is a curious thing. With you, I found the love I've been looking for, and I'm grateful to be the man who wakes up next to you. Together forever, two hearts that beat as one. I've been waiting for a girl like you, and I'm committed to loving you unconditionally. You take my breath away with your kindness and strength. You've become my everything, and nothing's going to stop us now. I promise to keep on loving you and cherish every minute we share. You are my person, and our lives, and as our lives intertwine, I vow until the day I die, until the end of time, that I'm never going to give you up, never going to let you down.
Oh, wow.
Never going to run around and desert you. Never going to make you cry, never going to say goodbye.
Never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. My love for you will never change. I'm forever yours and will always stand beside you faithfully.
How many copyright laws did you guys file on right there? Those are lawyers on that.
That's kind of official, sort of. I almost want to sing never gonna give you up. George, do you promise to love, honor, and cherish Rachel today and every day, as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Rachel, do you promise to honor, love, and cherish George today and every day, as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Now we need some rings, I think, right? So we're looking for Kim, Brian, and Andy. I don't cry easy. George, you're going to go first. Repeat after me. With this ring, I promise to always love you.
With this ring, I promise to always love you.
Cherish you, honor you, and comfort you.
Cherish you, honor you, and comfort you.
I will always be grateful for your presence in my life.
I will always be grateful for your presence in my life.
And now you can give her her ring.
Wait, I was supposed to give you it.
I ain't gonna lie, it's a big one.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. Rachel, repeat after me. With this ring, I promise to always love you.
With this ring, I will always promise to love you,
Cherish you, honor, and comfort you.
cherish you, honor you, and comfort you.
I will always be grateful for your presence in my life.
I will always be grateful for your presence in my life.
So, by the powers vested in me, by the great state of Ohio. Oh, yeah, give him the ring here. Sorry. I got ahead of myself. That looks good, too. It's a meteorite? Holy moly. You guys are amazing. So by the powers vested in me, by the great state of Ohio and the Universal Life Church, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure, by dauntless resolution, see what I did there? I would like to introduce Mr. and Mrs. George and Rachel Ward. Congratulations to you both.
You guys give us like 5 minutes and we'll get... You guys give us like 5 minutes and we'll get everything set up for signings and stuff, okay? So just mingle and we'll get everything set up.
Cocktail hour.
Cocktail hour. Yeah, we the valves will hold their explosives.
I got stuff you want to